As you would have just heard in the news, one man is dead and another fighting for his life after a spate of violent crime attacks in Auckland at the weekend. Police are investigating a suspected homicide in the central city, the stabbing of a bus driver in Mount Roskill, the shooting of 4 people in Pukekohe and the assault of an elderly woman in her Piha home. It comes as new data also shows retail crime across New Zealand has increased almost 40% in the last year. Assistant Commissioner Sam Hoyle was appointed to his newly created role late last year to oversee the Auckland Super City, promising to tackle ram raids, increase visibility of officers and to get more resources to make us safe. He joins us now along with Auckland Councillor Alf Philippina. Morena, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. Sam, can I start with you? Do you have any update on any of those cases? Somebody, in the case of the bus driver, I understand somebody has been arrested. What about this man who was found deceased in central Auckland? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, morning, Ryan. Someone has been arrested and will appear in court today, a 62-year-old man, and in the fullness of time we'll find out more what was behind that event.
This is the bus driver?
The bus driver. Yeah. We're following strong lines of inquiry on the homicide in Simon Street, or just off Simon Street. I'm confident our teams in coming days will bring that to a successful resolution. What
happened to this poor man?
I can't speak of those details while it's still a live investigation and we're only just over 24 hours into it.
Sure.
So if we give the teams a little bit longer, I'm sure we'll all get to hear what occurred.
All right. Alf, I mean, in some ways, sadly, this is sort of nothing out of the ordinary, isn't it, for a weekend in Auckland? Do you think we need to be doing more? Like, people are talking about curfews and security guards on buses and all this sort of stuff.
I think the bus issue around transport police, that's been around for quite a few years, and they would be on the ferries, they would be on the trains and also the buses. I think another conversation needs to happen with the government around this. There was a conversation even in the Manukau days, way back then. There was a conversation in the Auckland Transport days and the New Auckland Council. That conversation needs to happen and we need to have a look at it. They've got in place, Auckland Transport have Māori wardens who get paid to be on our buses, and the trains and the ferries, but again, we need to have a bigger conversation around our community.
Because there's not enough of them, are there? Unfortunately, our Māori wardens do great work, but there aren't enough of them probably for this. Would you appreciate, be it government or local councils, putting security guards in places? Would that help your job?
Look, any capable guardians helps, whether it's Māori wardens, Pacifica wardens, members of the community, security guards, anyone who's eyes, I'd welcome anything in that space.
So you've been in the job now since November last year, is that right?
Yeah.
And you came in because you were going to sort of sort out Auckland for us. Do you know what's happened in that time? Is there less violent crime now?
There's been, violent crime's been steady over that period. We have seen a slight increase in family harm and mental health cases. That's still the biggest driver of our demand, is what goes on in people's homes, what goes on in people's relationships, and mental health in the community is the biggest piece of our work for our front line. We have seen the likes of ram raids trending back since the middle of last year. That's before I got here. They're still too high. I mean, I don't think there's ever acceptable amount of ram raids.
And retail crime up 40%?
It is. We are seeing more retail crime reported across New Zealand, and I think that's a good thing. It's getting us a better handle on what's occurring and where. We're seeing organised crime behind some retail crime.
But we can't say 40% increase in retail crime is a good thing, can we?
Seeing it reported is a good thing.
Are you saying before it wasn't reported?
A lot of it was. Go back a couple of years, to report a crime as a shopkeeper, you had to ring the police, a patrol had to arrive, or you got sent down to the local police station to report it at your front counter. Now they're reporting it online from their shops. We're seeing a lot more reported for lower level retail crime.
So we've got the internet basically, which is great, but how many of these crimes are actually getting solved?
We are solving and linking more than we did in the past. We are seeing organised crime groups attacking certain retail or sectors of the retail environment.
Right. Is it because you came in to look after Auckland? Do you know how many extra police officers do we have actually on the front line here since you've come in? You know, how many extra patrols are we seeing?
We are seeing more foot patrols, more vehicle stops in the last few months. We are pushing up our visibility, particularly in the CBD, is getting more people out on foot. at the right times of the day so they can be seen and mix and mingle with the public.
Right. So it's more about being seen than it is about at the times of day where you might have people being stabbed in alleyways, that sort of thing?
It's about both. Okay. It's about matching our patrol times and our visibility with the demand, but also matching it when people are out and about, and both those things often align.
Okay. Alf, is this what you're hearing? Are you hearing that there is an increased police presence out in the community, there are more cars being stopped, there are more police on the beach?
Not only that, but there's also initiatives within Auckland Council that are trying to get ambassadors on the street as well in our centres. I know that with the role that His Worship the Mayor sort of asked me to do around the serious crime and safety around retailers, I've done the work with most of the managers in the business improvement districts from out south, heading out to North Shore, heading across to the west and talking to managers there around how that $6 million crime fund, the $2 million SEPTED fund, the 4,000 fog cannons, that's getting out and getting suggestions then through to Auckland Council. So that's happening already.
Okay, so you're both telling me that despite what people may be feeling, that things are actually in Auckland, we're dealing with crime better than we were 6 months ago. Things aren't as bad.
I think Auckland's still a safe city. By any international standard, Auckland is a large city and it is a safe city. There's still work-ons. We still have our challenges as a community. But
I think it's that we used to be so much safer, isn't it? I mean, that's what people are missing. You know, I mean, you could compare us to Brazil or whatever to Sao Paulo, but I mean, you know.
It's people's feelings of safety is as important as actually being safe. If people feel safe, they're out more, they spend. Feelings of safety are important, and that's what's important about how we talk about crime and why we keep the messages around safety in perspective. The events in Pukekohe on the weekend between the Black Power were between the Black Power. You know, it didn't involve members of the public.
I know,
disappointing.
I know, but isn't it that we're at the point now where it used to be like, oh my goodness, a gang shooting, that is horrible, let's talk about that for a week. Now it's like, well, at least it's only gang members. You know, I mean...
Well, it was incredibly disappointing. We wasted dozens of hours there, which when we could have been doing more productive work, and the impact on the health system in terms of injured people.